So here's what we do now. You ready? I'm going to talk you through a pitching structure, and I will tell like who is really good, like who has like a spot on, top notch, amazing elevator pitch. Every time you pitch, people buy. Every time you pitch, people want to hear more. They want to throw money at you. No one. Okay, cool. Then we have some really good work to do, which will be amazing. And I do remember do you actually know what kind of job I got fired from? Yes. So some of you have heard that story before. This is why I'm now so passionate about pitching, because no matter who I pitched to in 2010, no one would buy. And clearly things have changed. Otherwise, I would be standing, in front of empty chairs. But it took time. And, no matter where you are in your business, maybe it's about refining your existing pitch, or maybe it's about really starting from scratch, right? So we're going to kind of work on the level you're at. And what I'm going to do is going to talk you through a certain pitching structure. And thank you everyone actually who replied to my email, because I was asking, what do you want to get out of that session? And, people were saying, I tend to waffle, or, I get so nervous and I don't know where to start. Or I want to, pitch to corporates, but that's different to pitching to end users, right? So it's really what I invite you to do for the next half an hour. Like, think of one area of your business you want to focus on. So for example, Speaker Express does corporate work, and we do work with business owners like you guys, right? My pitch is different to the corporates compared to, when I pitch to you guys. And also, I wouldn't rock up in a green jacket to a corporate pitch, right? And that's really all plays, in that equation as well. So just focus on one thing. Like whatever it is, in terms of your business, if I think it was Wendy, asking, how do I pitch to certain event organizers? Maybe you want to create an event organizer pitch today. Whatever it is, focus on one thing. Like focus on this particular one person you'll be pitching to. Now, have a quick guess why I have those guys up. What do you think? Just shout it out, random. Whatever.
Well, Deborah Meaden is pitched to in Dragon's Den by entrepreneurs.
Yeah, but trust me, she has pitched so many things into existence as well. So has Steve Jobs. He is probably one of the best corporate storytellers. And if you have never watched any of his product presentations or demonstrations, he was just incredible. And, Sheryl Sandberg, she constantly finds herself surrounded by big boards and, serious businessmen. And it's really always about finding the right tone to pitch to them. And my favorite is probably Warren Buffett, because when he finished university, before he actually got his first role, he did a speaker training course, because he knew that this was one of the most clever decisions ever. And he still credits to this day a lot of his ability to communicate, to just being awesome, when he pitches and speaks and influences people. Now, what we have found as well, there is a direct correlation of your ability to really clearly communicate your brand to other people, and it will really help you building your profile. And we have seen it over and over again. A clear pitch makes all the difference. And here are a few people who have pitched things into existence. TEDx, a lot of you, I always hear, want to do a TEDx, you need to have a solid pitch. Or other people, don't know, it's about their tech startup, they're pitching for investment. One of the guys we worked with, he went on Dragon's Den, and he had actually 3 of the dragons fighting over investing in him. And you want to get so good with your pitch, or maybe you want to talk on the radio, or you get on a TV channel. It's always about pitching. It's always about selling yourself. And that's why I'm always going on and on and on about it, that you have one of those, bless you, solid pitches. Now, he actually, I think, do I have it here? So when on Dragon's Den, it's more about investment pitching. And I don't know if anyone is about to pitch for investment. Take a photo if you do. Like, that's a really simple structure we always recommend to people if they step in front of some really serious investors. Now, today, I'm going to use a very simple elevator pitch structure. And that is a lot more complex, and you will always have like a solid slide deck with it. Sometimes people even get support. Actually, Arena is here. Give us a wave. Arena is from the Business Funding Show, and they always get businesses mixed with investors, and you actually do that as well. You help people with pitch deck creation. Awesome. Have a chat with Arena if that's something you're into. And here are, in case you aren't convinced yet that pitching is so important, but here are a few things where you can pitch things into existence. Like, my favorite thing is pitching for partnerships or pitching to venues. Every time we run the club night, I'd say only 25% of the time we actually pay for the venue. Like tonight, they sponsor the venue. They even gave us free drinks. Like when we run the events at the IOD, like they sponsor us because I had a really good solid pitch making them think, we have those guys here for free. And that's my favorite thing. I love getting things free. And if you run events, you can imagine how expensive venues can be. But it's about partnerships, speaking gigs, like investment, like you can even, I don't know, if you go down to the pub and you pitch to someone you think is really attractive, that's your personal social pitch. That's all pitching. It helps you to raise your profile and really get yourself out there. And trust me, it's easier in real life compared to Tinder. That's why I love running real life events. And we have matched people in the past as well. So you might be lucky. Just have a look around. And one more thing before we start. And I said this before, like I really want you to maybe think of this one person, maybe this one investor you want to impress, or this one client or corporate gig you want to close. It's so important to hook the right people, but also put the wrong people off in the most loving way. There will be people here in the room who might never come back to a Speaker Express event because you didn't like my green jacket or my accent or whatever. I'm sure you all love me, right? Now you should be nodding. Awesome. But hey, you have to understand that at no time in your lifetime will be an opportunity where suddenly the whole world, 7.3 billion people, will fall in love with you. Sometimes you will pitch to someone and they won't buy. And that's okay, right? So, shall we get started? Do you all have something to write? And if you don't, you can write in the program because we printed it in a funny way. There are actually some empty pages in there. You can use your phone as well. Just take some notes. So I'm going to take you through 5 steps of that structure. You take some notes, and then we're going to do some pitching in smaller groups, like in groups of 3, where you can then get some feedback. No one ever, if you do a real life pitch, will come up to you after you and say, oh, I didn't buy because, no one ever will give you that feedback. And that's why we feel, it's so important. Okay, who doesn't have anything to write or who doesn't have a pen? I think there's a wry man around the corner. I don't have spare pens today either. But here is how we start. First of all, actually, hands up if you still have no idea what the hell an elevator pitch is. You all do know. It's very simply the answer to the question, what do you do? Right? And I think it was, if you check on Wikipedia, there's a funny story where 2 guys in America, I think it was someone from Saatchi and another guy from Vanity Fair, and they met in an elevator and they were riding to level 45, and then they just got talking in a minute, and then they exchanged business cards and then started doing business together. And that's how the term actually elevator pitch got coined. And I find, and Elliot and I, we always have like fights about that, but when someone pitches to me and only has a minute, like in your first sentence, I don't care about your name. your name doesn't help me to solve any problems I have. But saying that when you pitch to investors, it's always the first thing they want to know. They want to know who you are and what business to run. So I leave it up to you to either say, hey, my name is Annik and I do that, or you say, hey, we help people to fall in love with public speaking, and use speaking for business growth. I'm Annik and I run, either hook them first or start with your name. It's okay. There is no right or wrong. I just prefer someone telling me first how they solve a problem I have. Right? So I'm going to give you a minute to have a think, what's the problem you're solving? Whoa, that was a fast car. So step number 1 is come up with a sentence or 2 or 3, what is the problem you're solving? So, how could I rephrase that? What would be wrong in their life if they wouldn't have your product or service? Right? So find something that makes it interesting. So for example, there's a difference when I say to people, we do speaker training, I'm like I bore myself. But when I say to people, we help you to get more speaking gigs, or we help you having the right structure to do investment pitching, that's more about the problem we are solving, right? So think about the problem and not the industry so much. Anyone stuck? Easy peasy, right? Okay, step number 2. Actually, before I explain this one, who is proper English?
How many generations do you want to go?
Okay, who is English? Born in England? Yeah, Welsh count as well. Reason I'm asking, yes, we call it credibility, but this is really about bragging, right? If you're not the founder of Apple or Airbnb or WeWork, we need you to brag a little bit more, because you're not yet a household brand everyone knows, right? So what's your credibility? Here, I don't know if you have written a book, or if you have been featured somewhere, or if you have won awards, if you have a PhD, maybe people are interested to hear about that. It's really about giving whatever problem you're solving or whatever service you provide a bit more weight, a bit more, wow, I trust you even before I actually have bought your product, because you have 15 years of experience, right? Or if you don't have the experience, you know what I did? Who's really fresh in their business? A few of you. When I was starting out and I had no credibility or experience, I would always say to people, I have more than 30 years of experience of being scared of public speaking. And that, that passion and that hunger, then that's what people bought into. This is where they're like, wow, you have worked your ass off coming up with this methodology to help us. So it's okay, if you're a newbie, but what's your credibility? What is something impressive about you?
Does it have to be just one thing?
Can be 1 or 2, but remember as well, if you go and I've done this and I've done this, and people are like, wow, show off. It has to be the right bragging balance. Okay, step number 3, very simple. How do you do it? Give me some examples. What are some of the businesses or the services or the products? Just shout it out. Sleepwear. So is it a product?
Yeah.
Something I can...
The sleepwear, so pajamas.
Harry Potter nighties and stuff like that.
It's a little bit sexier, but yeah.
So is it more lingerie?
It's comfortable but sexy at the same time.
Oh, I'm intrigued now. I want to check it out. Make sure you leave me one of your cards. Good. So sleepwear, so they would go on your website and order it.
Yeah.
Right? Cool. So that would be your platform. This is how you sell. You have a website and there's an online shop. What else? What else do people do?
I go on a sleep coach.
You're a sleep coach. How do you do workshops?
Workshops, one-to-one work, and online program.
Perfect. See? So very simple. How can they find you? How do you deliver your service? That's step number 3. And step number 4, I find, is probably the most important step. And you have to have a think about your pitch and get a feel how it flows, because sometimes you want to put the results or the proof here where the credibility is, and you maybe then put your credibility a bit further to the bottom. This isn't like written in stone. Like, this is meant to be a moving thing. You know, you have to find your own flow with it. Yes, question.
As a startup, how do you get the results and proof? The credibility you can maybe make up, but results and
As someone who's starting, so you get very simple. I know everyone started somewhere, and what we did, like, we just had people as guinea pigs, and in return for a free testimonial. Like, I would, years and years ago in 2011, like, we would run really low price workshops or really low price sessions, and then we would get people to give us testimonials for our work. And if you look on my LinkedIn, I think I have like 98 now or something, and I stopped like collecting them because it got a bit boring, but we're good. So find a place like Google or Facebook, where people can write you a testimonial, so you build something up, and when people stalk you, they can see like 5 stars here and 5 stars there, right? So what else is another proof of you being awesome?
Client success story.
Yeah, so a client success story, like let's say you're a business coach and you have helped someone doubling their turnover, or if you, like Liz, for example, you help people to get leads through SEO, like, if they just generate more business through using your service, that's an amazing proof of what you do. So what are some of the results you create, and what's a proof for them? And I know some of you know that structure already, but who doesn't know? Who wants to have a guess what the last step is?
Like a call to action or something.
Yay! Ready? Call to action! That's the most important bit. And that's really about either, if it's about your sleepwear, I'd even take it a little further. Instead of saying, go to my website, give them an incentive. Say, here's my card, there's a code. If you order something in the next 48 hours, there is a 15% discount. It's come up with a really good call to action that maybe even gives them an incentive, to buy your stuff faster. Or what are some other call to actions?
Email for ebooks or
Yeah, so if you have like a free ebook, so at Speak Express we have this like the 7 steps to more visibility for speakers. Often when I speak, I offer that to people in exchange for their email. And there are loads of different things. Like, I feel something always really works if, yes, you give them your card, but also collect theirs, because then you're a bit more in control of the relationship. Because if someone, and I'm guilty of that, like yesterday I met an amazing woman and I really, really love what she does. Do you think I have emailed her yet? No, I haven't had time, and then it's just gets stuck somewhere at the bottom of your drawer and it never happens. So help them, be in control of that relationship and follow up with them. I'm not saying there will be a client, but there might be, and I feel we don't follow up enough. And you know how many thousands of, hundreds of thousands of millions of pounds are in the follow-up? So powerful. Okay, call to action. Ready? So, here's what we do. Now, some of you might be thinking, yes, look at this. I've written the perfect pitch. And others might be thinking, shit, now I have to say it out loud and I'm nowhere near perfect. But we always say progress over perfection. And it's one of my favorite things. When I started speaking years ago at City Library, it was terrible, guys. Trust me, it was bad. It was so bad that sometimes I remember I was blushing because I was so nervous. But I've moved on and I still live, and I hope everyone who was in that audience at the time lives too. Who knows? But your first few pitches might be terrible and they might be waffly, but this is why I want you to do that here and get some feedback as well, right? So here's what we do. let's all stand up, get into groups of 3. And when you see me raising my arm, all I want you to do is raise your arm as well and be quiet. And then I count you in. Just find a group, get into 3s. That was quick. Can one of the 3 of you, can one of you raise his or her arm, please? Just one. Okay, and whoever is raising his or her arm, I want you to point to the person who you want to go first. And you're going to have a minute, right? You're going to have a minute to do your 5-step structure, and then I call time, and then you get some feedback from the other 2 people. And what I mean by feedback is you simply tell them, that was great, this you could do even better, right? Ready? Your minute starts now. Go. Good job. So tell me some good feedback, because whenever I ask people to say, oh, what feedback did you get? They would always talk about the constructive things. But what are some of the good things people said to you? Yes. In one sentence.
My 2 partners just told me that I had my pitch all wrapped up very well.
Cool. So pitch was wrapped up well. What else was good?
Strong opener.
Strong opener. Yes. What else? Because people are always so good. This was shit. Here, I need to improve. I can't do this. We're so good at that. But we're shit at like being our own best friend. You know, tap on the shoulder saying, hey, I'm awesome. Give me a few more.
We loved Mary Jane's admission that she'd written a book. She had to admit it. Rather than
I didn't know that either.
yeah.
Said exactly the same thing.
Yeah. You're English, right? How dare you? Like, you have to tickle and really pull all the good stuff out of you people. Amazing. I love it. A few more. 2 more.
I didn't pass out.
You didn't pass out. Yay! Okay, 1 more. What was good? Like, what was something maybe even proud of yourself? Yes.
An interesting topic.
Yes. I love your topic. Really good. Amazing. Good job. Always remember, yes, feedback is very important, but it's equally important to give yourself a bloody tap on the shoulder and say, hey, this was my first pitch, or yeah, I tried out some new material, you know, I'm learning and I'm growing. And I always say to people, you're perfect now, but you will continue to improve forever, you know, and there's never a moment, you know, where you think, oh my God, this was the best pitch I've ever done. You know, you will always change and always improve and learn something new. And also, remember this, like sometimes you have to do 15 pitches before someone buys, you know, you have to refine. It takes time. And I think years and years ago, remember the pub I told you in Kentish Town that closed down because of hygiene or health reasons or whatever it was, we actually landed the Grand Hotel at Northumberland Avenue, and I think she liked me a lot, and she never charged us rent. And this made me think, it's like, you know, there's a way there, there's something there. And this is when I started pitching and trying to sell people the idea to, hey, we bring you people, can we use your venue free? You know, it's just come up with something you're really excited about, and then you will do it as often and as long as it takes until someone says yes. That's what it is all about. Now, put your right arm up, everyone, please. Give yourself a tap on the shoulder, speak after me, say, I'm awesome. I did well. Good, thank you. And what I'm going to do now, actually, Elliot, our seats have been stolen. We can sit on the sofa. Because what we do now, because I think we had those seats, but keep sitting there, it's fine. But what we do now, I'm going to hand you over to the MC. But before I do that, because there's something I need to tell the MC, but you can't hear it. So I want you to turn to the person on your right or on your left. What was your big learning? What was one of your big learnings from doing the pitching session, and what is one action step? What is one thing you should be doing moving forward because you have learned X, Y, Z, right? Go.